ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहागना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोऽस्तुते। ताप्ता काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण माता जी।
Thank you, Tali. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so I'll offer my pranamas first. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarini. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Brunda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for joining, Amma. So today we are going to discuss about chapter 4. Okay, chapter 4 is named as Transcendental Knowledge. So before going to chapter 4, let's see a recap of what we learned in chapter 3. Okay.
Can I have a question? Chapter 4's name you said in English. What is it in Sanskrit?
Sanskrit, I have to see, Amma. I'll let you know before the class, okay?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So this before going to the chapter 4, we'll do a recap of what we learned in chapter 3. Okay. So chapter 3, what we discussed about 4 sections. So first section we discussed about renunciation. So what is renunciation? Can anyone type in the chat what we discussed about the renunciation?
Renunciation means detachment, Mataji.
Oh, did I not mute anyone? Everyone?
No, Mataji, we can mute, Mataji.
Okay, I'll mute now. Yeah. Mute participants. Okay, fine. Yeah. Now you can unmute. No, right? Okay. Yeah. Okay, you can type in the chat. Like, what is renunciation? What is true renunciation? What did Krishna say about detachment? Yes, very good. So renunciation is detaching towards what? We learned about two things, right? Detaching towards our possessions, and what is the other one? Detachment from enjoying propensities. Yes, results. We should not be attached to the results of the work, but we have to work, give our best when we are working. Yeah, very good. And next, and here also Krishna explained what are the fake, and because there might be so many pretenders saying that they're renounced. So that and all Krishna explained. And then we discussed about yoga ladder here. So yoga ladder, what we learned, and one second, I just need to close my window. 1 second, I'll be back. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah. So what we learned in the yoga ladder, we saw the different rungs. Actually, there was a flaw in the question which I have given in your weekend quiz, and that's why I have awarded for this quiz for everyone. Actually, the lowest rung in this yoga ladder is Karma Yoga. Okay, karmis, karma kanda, and sakama, nishkama, karma yoga. These four come under this particular karma yoga. So the answer is the lowest rung in the yoga ladder will be karma yoga. Okay, and karmis actually they don't come in the yoga ladder, but then just before the yoga ladder starts, this karmis comes. Okay, so that's why I have awarded all of you 1 point for that. And then we talked about third section, that is exemplary lifestyle. So in this exemplary lifestyle, what we discussed, so we have to be an example to the example. We have to set an example. Why we have to set an example? Can anyone answer? Why we have to set an example? Akshaya wants to say. Yes, Akshaya.
Because the highest people, the common people will follow us. If we do correct thing, the common people will follow. Then we will get the punya, and everyone will also get the punya.
So because if we set an example, automatically everyone surrounding us, they will follow whatever we do, whatever good things we have done. Okay, good. And next, what in the last section, that is the biggest challenge ever. Here we discussed about, so Krish, what Arjuna was saying, Arjuna is saying, in spite of having goals, so we have goals and we want to achieve that goals, but then something drags us from achieving that goal. So what is that Krishna said? Krishna said that is lust. And he said about the degrees of covering of the lust. And in the 3 degrees of the covering of the lust, which is the thickest one? Which is the thickest one? Can anyone say? Only Akshaya? You can raise your hand. I'll unmute. Harika, yes. Yes, Harika.
Baby in the mother's womb.
Right. Yeah, that is the thickest covering. And anyone want to say what is the difference between love and lust? Atidi? Where is Atidi? She's raising her hand. Okay, Brunda.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Love is the, like, there is a no reaction towards, if like if we give anything to someone, we don't expect
expectation.
return.
Right, exactly. Very good. So that is love. What is true love? That is love. Okay, that's fine. But what is true love? True love is the love towards Krishna. The devotional service, the love and devotion we have towards Krishna is true love. So what is lust? Anyone? What is lust? Again, Harika and Akshaya are only raising hand. Yeah, Krishna Priya.
Lust means, Mataji, we expect anything, Mataji.
We expect anything in return. That is lust. So we give something and we expect something. That is desire. So you have that desire. You have lot of expectations. Very good. Okay. So let's move on to today's chapter. That is transcendental knowledge. Okay, so again for our ease and convenience in this chapter we have 4 sections. So first section is eternal education. So eternal education starts from the verse 4.1 to 4.10. Okay, and then the second section is Krishna removes misconception from the verse 11 to 15. There are some popular misconceptions which we have throughout our generations, and Krishna is removing that misconceptions. And then all of you know the Newton's third law of motion, right? What is Newton's third law of motion? You can type in the chat. What is Newton's third law of motion? Anyone? Okay, I think it's better to unmute if anyone want to say. Raise your hand. I'll unmute. What is Newton's third law of motion? Nobody studied this? Harshini, you want to say? Yeah, Harshini.
For every action, there is a reaction.
Equal and opposite reaction. Excellent. Yeah. So in this particular section, we will defeat that. We will defeat that equal and opposite reaction. That is what Krishna is saying in this section. And the final section is how to attain this knowledge. To attain this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, how we have to attain this knowledge, Krishna is explaining here. Okay. So now let's move on to the next slide. So first section, we are dealing with the first section here, eternal education. So in this eternal education section, we will be discussing about who can acquire this knowledge and from whom we have to acquire this knowledge and what is this knowledge about. So we'll be discussing about these 3 here in this particular section. So first, who can acquire this knowledge? So who want to read this first verse? Was 4.1. Akshaya. Yes, Akshaya.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha Imam Vivasate Yogam
Vivasvate.
Imam Vivasvate Yogam Prasman Aham Avayam
Vivasvan.
Vivasvan Manava Praha Manur
Ikshvakave Bravit.
Ikshvakave Brave.
Very good. Read the translation.
The personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god
Vivasvan.
And Vivasvan instructed to it to Manu and father of mankind. Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvaku.
Ikshvaku, very good. So what Krishna is saying here, Krishna is saying like in the last section, in the last chapter, what did we learn? We learned about lust. So now Arjuna is asking Krishna, what is this about and how we actually can learn? Is there anything available? Is there any education available for this? So now Krishna is explaining this. So in this verse, what Krishna is saying, that he's saying this knowledge which we are actually talking now, which we are discussing, he's saying that he already gave it to Vivasvan. Who is Vivasvan? Vivasvan is the sun god. We have Surya Dev, right? So he is Vivasvan. And then Vivasvan gave it to Manu. And Manu gave it to Ishvaku. In this verse, Krishna is saying that. We have another verse. After that, we'll discuss in detail. Who want to read this verse now? Okay, who want to read this verse? Okay, Kaivalya.
Evam parampara praptam imam rajasyo viduhu sakale neha mahata yogo naste parantapa.
Translation also.
This supreme science was thus received through the chain of
Disciplinic succession.
And the saintly kings understood it in that way, but in course of time the session was broken and therefore the science as it appears to be lost.
Very good. So what is Krishna saying here? Evam parampara. Parampara means what? Disciplinic succession. Disciplinic succession means, so you know, a teacher, student. Okay, that student again, he will attain that knowledge and he will become a teacher. He will teach to another student. Like that, the disciplinic, the chain is actually flowing through. But what here Krishna is saying? Imam Raja Rishiyo Viduhu. So in that way, the saintly kings actually receive this knowledge. But Sakale Neha Mahata. So what is happening? During the course of time, this particular knowledge, what happened to this knowledge? Yogo Nasta Parantapa. Krishna is saying that this knowledge, the chain is totally broken. So for example, let's take, you know, all chain, right? So how the chain will be like this, right? You know, like chain will be like this, right? So if you take an iron chain, right, all strings should be iron only. Okay, then it can bear that weight. Yeah. So if you want to actually pull, say you have a huge box and you want to pull that box with that particular chain. But then in the middle of this chain, if I have, say, for example, a rubber band or say a thermocol ring, right? A thermocol ring, it will be very loose, right? So you have a thermocol ring in the between and then you're dragging a huge box. What will happen then? Automatically you cannot pull, the chain will be broken, right? Yeah, same way what Krishna is saying here is, this knowledge I already told to Vivaswan, the sun god, long time back. Then it was passed to Manu and then to Ishwaku and then so many saintly kings received this knowledge. But over the period of time, what happened is, there's so many unscrupulous people who came in between and they made their own interpretations and this knowledge is totally lost. So what Krishna is saying is, now I am giving that same knowledge to you. That is what Krishna is saying. Okay. So here, who can acquire this knowledge? To acquire this knowledge, right, you have to be a devotee. So we all know that Arjuna is a very dear devotee to Krishna. We know he is a very dear friend to Krishna. So devotee means bhakta and friend means Saka. Okay. So how a devotee should be? A devotee should be in a non-challenging mode. What is a non-challenging mode? Like, you should not try to actually offend someone like a guru or someone. You should be in a non-challenging mode. Like, for example, say you know a little bit of this knowledge. You should not go to that guru in an intention that you wanted to test him. Okay, let's see, like this guru is teaching Bhagavad Gita here, right? Let me go and test how much knowledge he has. We should not be in that mood. Okay, that is a devotee. We should not be in a non-challenging mood. And who is a friend? Do you have any definition? Friend? You all have friends, right? So who is a friend? I see always Akshaya and okay, I'll give to Rana. Yeah, Rana. Who is a friend?
Saka.
Yeah, what is the definition of friend? Rana, you wanted to say?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, who is a friend? What is the definition of a friend? No, you don't have an answer. Okay. Harshit? Harshit then?
Yes, ma'am.
Who is a friend?
A friend will be every time with us, and when we get any difficulties, he will help us.
Okay. So what is the definition Krishna is giving here is, you should not be envious. A friend is someone who will not be jealous. See, for example, your friend got first rank, your close friend got first rank, and maybe you got second rank. You should not be jealous of your friend that your friend got first rank, but you should appreciate her. That is the mood we have to be. So to understand Bhagavad Gita, we have to have the mood of Arjuna. What is the mood of Arjuna here? He is a dear devotee and he is a dear friend. So we have to be in a non-challenging mood, one, and the other is we should not be envious. Okay, and again what Krishna is saying, we should make relevant inquiry. What is relevant inquiry? Like Krishna, Arjuna is asking so many questions here, right? Like, who am I? What will happen after birth? Where are we going? So all this relevant inquiry we have to do. So after making all these relevant inquiries, right, what we have to do, just listening is enough? No, right? We have to follow the instructions. So Bhagavad Gita is something not that we can, listen to Bhagavad Gita and we become very scholarly. There's so many scholarly people outside. They will know so much about Bhagavad Gita. But what is important is we have to follow the instructions given by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. We have to follow and apply them in our day-to-day life. That is important. That is understanding Bhagavad Gita correctly. Okay. And next, what is Krishna saying? Let's see. So here, the real qualification. What is the real qualification to understand Bhagavad Gita is, first of all, we should have faith on the Guru, whatever the Guru is saying. See, sometimes when the Guru is talking something, if we feel that the Guru, okay, this is not correct, I have heard the same thing somewhere, but this doesn't sound right. Even in that mood, we should be able to accept what the Guru says. We have to have that much faith in Guru. Okay, my Guru said this, so it might be correct. Maybe the other people or wherever I have read it, it might be wrong, but what my Guru is saying is correct. That much faith we have to have in the Guru and Krishna. So here we can talk about a story of a South Indian Brahmana. So in Srirangam, so everyone knows Srirangam, right? There is a place, Srirangam, and there in that temple, there Mataji will take Krishna Leelas, right? Then also Mataji will discuss this there. So I'm just giving a short story here. So there is a disciple who actually recites Bhagavad Gita every day. Okay, but he is illiterate. He doesn't know how to read Bhagavad Gita also. But he every day opens a book and he literally cries, tears are flowing from his eyes. Every day he opens Bhagavad Gita, tears are flowing. And all his Brahmana friends and all other Brahmanas, whoever there are there, right? They used to make fun of him, saying that, hey, you don't even know how to read, you don't even know how to write, you are reading Bhagavad Gita and there's so many slokas in Bhagavad Gita, you don't even know what to read, how are you reading? They used to make fun of him. But he never worried about their comments. But one day what happened is, you all have heard about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? Mataji told you about the glories of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So one day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to that temple and he saw this Brahmana catching Bhagavad Gita and literally crying like he's just weeping. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to that Brahmana and he inquired, what is happening? You're reading Bhagavad Gita and why are you crying like that? He asked. Then he said, I am an illiterate. I don't know how to read. My Guru, Maharaj, my Guru has instructed me to read Bhagavad Gita. That's why I'm reading Bhagavad Gita. I don't even know how to read. But every time, whichever page I open, I visualize only one thing. So what is that one thing? He visualizes the scene where Krishna is the chariot driver to Arjuna. On just visualizing that one thing, right, he gets like goosebumps. He actually, tears flow from his eyes. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him, why, on visualizing that thing, why are you crying? Then the Brahmana replied saying that, how merciful Krishna is. For his devotees, he's ready to do anything. How merciful. He accepted to be the chariot driver of Arjuna. So how merciful he is, and he was literally crying like that. Then from that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told two things. What are the two things we can understand from this Brahmana? Anyone can say in the chat, or if they wanted to say, I can unmute it. Yeah, Akshay.
Mataji, we should be faith on Krishna, Mataji.
Right.
And, we should learn Krishna is very messy now, Mataji.
Right.
We not expect anything by Krishna, Mataji.
Excellent, Akshay. Yes. So first thing is faith that Akshay already told. So faith he has on Krishna and he has on his Guru. His Guru instructed him to actually read Bhagavad Gita. He doesn't even know how to read, but still he started opening that book and he started reading and getting everything from that. And second thing is he has faith in Krishna and he is just following the instructions of his Guru. So to understand Bhagavad Gita, we have to have faith and we have to follow the instructions. And what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu concluded here is, he said to that Brahmana, see, everybody will read Bhagavad Gita and everything, but by just one situation, you understood the essence of Bhagavad Gita. You just gave the essence of Bhagavad Gita. So that is how how much faith we have to have on Krishna and the Guru. Okay. That is a real qualification to understand Bhagavad Gita. So as discussed earlier, in the first verse, what did Krishna say? Krishna said that I already gave this knowledge to Vivasvan, then Manu, Ikshvaku. Then here again, Arjuna is bewildered. He is confused. So Arjuna was thinking, Krishna is my age. He was born during my time. How can Krishna actually give this knowledge to the sun god? So he is asking, what is Arjuna's question here? Arjuna is saying, sun god is born before you. How did you teach him? Then what did Krishna say? Krishna says that many births you only have taken. I remember all of them, but you cannot. I am unborn. So what is Krishna saying here? Krishna doesn't have any birth. He has no beginning. He has no end. But he only takes birth in this planet to satisfy his devotees. Okay, first thing we have to understand that. And Arjuna is a Jivatma. So we heard in the second chapter, we heard about the soul, right? We are all souls. So Arjuna, we are all Jivatmas. So Arjuna is a Jivatma. So when the soul transfers to a new body, then the soul will forget everything from the past life. So Arjuna will not remember anything. But Krishna, being the Supreme Lord, he remembers everything. That is what he answered to Arjuna's question here. And next, so from where can we get this knowledge? So we are talking about the knowledge, right? Getting this eternal education. So you all know that there are so many universities. We have Harvard University, we have Stanford University, Cambridge University. So many universities are there. But see, for example, I want to become a doctor. So what I'll do, I'll just go and to a bookstall, get all the books which are related to the doctor course. I will study all that books. Then I will do a Google and I will verify whatever is required for becoming a doctor. Then I will become a self-appointed doctor. I will open a clinic. I'll open a clinic and I will have a board saying that self-appointed doctor and ready for surgery. Will any one of you be interested in going to that self-appointed doctor? Will anyone of you be interested? No, right? Yeah, no. Why you don't want to go to that doctor? Any answers? I can unmute you if anyone wants to say. Akshaya again. Anyone else? Okay, I'm not seeing anyone else raising hands. Okay. Let me give to Harika. Yeah, Harika. Why you don't want to go to that doctor?
Not because they don't have tried, they didn't have any experience now, ma'am.
Because they're not authorized basically, right? Yeah, very good. So even this spiritual knowledge, we have to listen from an authorized authority. That is what Krishna is conveying here. You cannot go, someone is teaching Bhagavad Gita and just go and listen. We have to understand from which parampara they are, if they are authorized to give Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so let's see in the next slide. So this slide is from Padma Puran. It is not from Bhagavad Gita. So in Padma Puran, Krishna is actually, it is written clearly about the 4 paramparas. So I'll just read this one. So what I'll read slowly. Sampradaya Vihina E Mantraste Nishphala Matahataha. So what is being said here is, if any mantra which doesn't come in the disciplinic succession, that is, it is saying Nishphala, right? If it doesn't come in the disciplinic succession, like from the bona fide authority, then they are saying that this particular mantra is useless. Kalau Bhavishyanti. Kalau Bhavishyanti means, Kalau means Kali Yuga. In this Kali Yuga, there are 4 divine sampradayas. Chatvara means 4. So 4 sampradayas are given. What are those 4 sampradayas? Sri Sampradaya means, that is, Lakshmi ji has given Sri Sampradaya. Brahma is the founder of Brahma Sampradaya. Then we have Rudra Sampradaya. Rudra means, who is Rudra? Rudra means Shiva. So we have Rudra Sampradaya and we have Sanaka. That is 4 Kumaras. 4 Kumaras, that is one Sampradaya. There are 4 Sampradayas. And what is being said is, so for example, you all are studying in schools and colleges, right? To study in the school and colleges, your parents might have done so much of research and inquired and whether this school is good, whether this is the proper university, whether this is proper syllabus, whether it is affiliated to the CBSE board or state board, all this they might have inquired, right? See, if there is a school just beside your house, there is no affiliation, nothing. Someone puts a board saying that so-and-so school started. Will your parents go and join you in that school? No, right? Yeah, because you want an authorized authority, you want an authorized certificate for the study you have done. So same way, Krishna has given us 4 paramparas. And who are the founders? So we have seen that Lakshmi ji is the founder of one Sampradaya, Sri Sampradaya. Brahma is the founder of Brahma Sampradaya. Then Lord Shiva is the founder of Rudra Sampradaya. And the 4 Kumaras are the founder of Kumara Sampradaya. So here in for each Sampradaya, again the principals have been appointed. So this is again from Padma Puran. So here this verse, what it is saying is Ramanujam Sri Svichakre. So for Sri Sampradaya, Lakshmi ji has appointed Ramanujacharya as the principal. So in your school's principal is there, right? Your school might be founded by someone. They might be board of directors. They are the founders of the school. But then there will be principal also, right, in that school. So same way for these Sampradayas, for Sri Sampradaya, it is Ramanujacharya. Okay. For Madhvacharyam, Chaturmukha. Who is Chaturmukha? Chaturmukha is Lord Brahma. For that, Madhvacharya is the principal. Sri Vishnu Swaminim Rudro. So Rudra means Lord Shiva. For that, Vishnu Swami is appointed as the principal. And then we have the 4 Kumaras. So 4 Kumaras, Chetu Sanaka means 4 Kumaras. Chetu means 4. So 4 Kumaras, they have appointed Nimbadityam or Nimbarakacharya. So that is one Sampradaya. He is the principal of that Sampradaya. So what are the 4 Sampradayas we have? We have Sri Sampradaya, Brahma Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya and 4 Kumara Sampradaya. And who are the principals there? They are, for Sri it is Ramanujacharya, for Brahma Sampradaya it is Madhvacharya, then for Rudra Sampradaya it is Vishnu Swami, and 4 Kumaras it is Nimbarakacharya. Okay? So you all might be wondering now, okay, which Sampradaya which we belong to now. Okay, so here in the picture you can see like there are 32 people, right? So we know the Sampradaya, the knowledge is flowing from Krishna. Second name you can see Brahma, Narada, Vyasa. Like that, if you go down, the 32nd person is AFC Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So he is the founder Acharya of ISKCON, who has written and translated the Bhagavad Gita as it is, or Bhagavad Gita Edatadam. Okay, so we are following his teachings. We are following this Bhagavad Gita as it is. So we all belong to Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. Okay, so we belong to this parampara. Yeah, understood so far? Clear? You can type in the chat if it is cleared. Clear so far? Can I proceed? Akshaya, no, you have some question? Yes, okay. 1 second. Let me mute Akshay. Yes, Akshay.
Mataji, in which Sampradaya we are belong to, you said, Mataji?
We belong to Brahma Madhva. See, Brahma Sampradaya, who is the principal? Madhva. Okay, but you know Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? So it is called Gaudiya Vaishnavas. We are all called as Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So it is Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. Gaudiya. Okay, yeah. And who is that? Brinda, you have a question? No, okay. So clear for the rest of everyone?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, good. Yeah. So let's proceed. So what is all this knowledge about? So here again, Arjuna is asking a question. So now we learnt about sampradayas and everything. So what is this all about? He's asking. Okay. We also wanted to know what is this all about, right? So Krishna, Arjuna is asking, my dear Lord, when do you appear? He's asking. And what is the second question he's asking? Why does the Lord appear? Why do you appear? When you appear, why you appear, and what happens if I gain this knowledge? If we actually gain this knowledge, because Arjuna is asking for all of us, right? So what happens by gaining this knowledge? So now let's see the answer to the first question. When does the Lord appear? So here again we have a very interesting verse and very important verse. I'll give it to Harshit. Yeah, Harshit, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्.
Very good recitation. Translation also.
Translation: whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice or dissident of Bharata and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time a descend myself.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you. So here what is Krishna saying? Dharmasya. What is dharma? You can write in the chat. What is dharma? Dharma is, you can type in the chat. What is dharma? Yeah, righteousness. Yeah, very good. Yeah. So what Krishna is saying here, yada yada hi dharmasya, gnanir means decline. When there is a decline in dharma, when dharma is declining, then what he is saying, abhyudhanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. Adharmasya, when adharma is increasing and dharma is decreasing, then he said he'll appear. Why he'll appear? He will appear and he will reverse it. Okay. Now dharma is decreasing, adharma is increasing. So he will reverse it. Adharma has to decrease and dharma has to increase. To reverse that, he will appear. Okay. Understood so far? Okay. Next one. Again, there is a very nice verse here. If someone want to, I think we have to wait. Yeah. So when this Lord, right, he appears in this planet in different incarnations. So whenever he appears, he appeared in different forms. For example, here you can see a form of a fish. When he appears in the form of a fish, it is called Matsya Avatar. When he appears as a dwarf Brahmana, it is called as a Vamana Avatar. If he appears like a human being, like the two-handed form, right, then he is Krishna. If he appears like a boar, that is Varaha Avatar. And if he appears like a swan, that is Hamsa Avatar. And you know, this is an interesting, very interesting thing. If he appears in the form of a book, that is Srimad Bhagavatam. So it is important to have Srimad Bhagavatam in everyone's house. Srimad Bhagavatam is like having Krishna inviting. See, when you invite your cousins or guests to home, how happy you will be. Can anyone share how happy you will be? I can unmute you. Akshaya, yes.
We will be excited, Mataji.
Excellent. Yeah. So same way, when you invite Srimad Bhagavatam into your house, right? It is like inviting the Supreme Lord into your house. Supreme Lord is entering into your house. So it is very important, like Bhagavad Gita, how you have at home, Srimad Bhagavatam, if you have in your home, it is like Krishna is with you always. Krishna is there with you. So it is important to have Srimad Bhagavatam at your house. And if anyone don't have Srimad Bhagavatam at your house, you can actually contact me or Mataji. It actually costs like 6,500 to 7,000. But mind you, my dear children, it is really, really greatest asset you will have in your life at your home, because you will be inviting Krishna into your lives. It is the greatest gift you will give to yourself, and the entire family will be benefited. So it is important to have Srimad Bhagavatam at home. It is written in English also is there, and the purpose is really easy to understand, because now that Mataji is actually saying about Krishna Leelas, if you actually try to get Srimad Bhagavatam into your house, you can read and you'll see how interesting it is, and you cannot stop yourself from reading them. So just try and talk to your parents and see that if you can get a Srimad Bhagavatam set this year. Okay. And then we have a interesting verse again, if anyone wants to read. Who is that? Trai, you want to read? Are you there, Trai? Raise your hand, I think. Yes, Trai.
Yeah.
Very important verse.
Paritranaya
Paritranaya Vinashaya. Yes, Trai. What happened? Okay.
Ma'am,
Yes, sir. Trai, go ahead.
I cannot listen.
Okay. I'll give you a chance again. I'll give you for the next lesson, okay?
Yeah.
Your voice is not audible, Trai. I'll give it for another chance. Okay, who else want to read? Anyone else? Kaushini? What happened to you all? Nobody is raising hands. Pushkar. Yes, Pushkar.
परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे.
Very good. Translation also.
To deliver the pure
Pious.
and to annihilate the ministrants
Miscreants.
as well to establish the principle of religion. I myself appear millennium after millennium.
Very good. Yeah. So what is Krishna saying here? For the question Arjuna asked was, why does the Lord appear? For that, what Krishna is saying, Paritranaya sadhunam. Who is a sadhu? Any answers? Who is a sadhu? Yamini? Who is a sadhu? Yamini, you raise your hand. Who is a sadhu? Who does tapasya? Okay, Brinda.
Mataji, who is a devotee for he will do tapasya and remembers God.
Who is a devotee of the Lord. Yes. So another definition here is, what is Krishna is saying here is, sadhu is a person, the righteous person who follow the religious principles, who does the follow the principles of Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So Krishna is saying that he is giving three things here. One is he's saying he will protect the devotees. Okay. And second one is saying he will annihilate the miscreants. Who are the miscreants here? Dushkrutas, bad people who are doing all sinful activities. He's saying he will destroy them. And then the third thing Krishna is saying here is he will re-establish the principles of religion. So in this particular verse, Krishna is saying three things. One is he will protect the devotees. He will destroy the Dushkrutas, that is miscreants. And he will establish the principles of religions. So earlier question, what is that? When does the Lord appear? There what Krishna said he will appear when adharma is increasing and dharma is decreasing. He will come and he will reverse that. Here, why does the Lord appear? Krishna is saying that he will come to protect the devotees, to destroy the miscreants, and to re-establish the principles of religion. Can anyone say when does the Lord appear and why the Lord appears? Quickly. Akshaya wants to say. Yes, Akshaya.
Mataji, when Dharma is not there and when Adharma is there, God comes and re-establishes the Dharma, and God comes to protect their devotees and
Right.
to
Destroy.
describe the
Dushkrutas or miscreant, bad people.
screens and to re-establish the principles of religion.
Excellent. Yes, very good. Harshit,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
when does the Lord appear? When does the Lord appear?
Mataji, when Adharma is more and Dharma will decrease, and Lord appears and he appears to protect the devotees of him and the one who follows the principles of religion, and when this goes, he re-establishes.
Re-establishes the principle of religion. Very good. Brunda also wants to say. Yes, Brunda.
Yes, Mataji. When adharma is increasing and dharma is decreasing, the Lord appears in avatara and saves dharma.
Right. Very good. Okay. Let's see the third question. What is the third question? What happens if we know about this knowledge? Let's see that now. So we already discussed, right? Krishna, when he appears in this planet, he'll appear in different forms. So here it is said that Krishna is the source of all incarnations, like Buddha, like Balramji, then all that incarnations like Narasimhadev. So Krishna is the source of all incarnations. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam means he is the source of all incarnations. So now we have one more verse here if anyone want to read. This is again a very important verse. Tanvita. Yes, Tanvita. You can switch on the video and go ahead, Tanvita. Tanvita, are you there? You're raising the hand.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, go ahead.
Why does the Lord appears?
No, not that screen. What happens by gaining this knowledge? Verse 4.9. Can you see that? Janma karma cha me divyam.
I can see, ma'am.
Yeah, go ahead.
Karma cha me divyam emam yo veti tatvatah tiktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti so Arjuna.
Very good. Translation.
One who knows the
Transcendental
nature of my
appearance
and activities does not upon
leaving
the body takes his birth again in this material world, but
attains
my
eternal
internal abode
Arjuna. Very good.
aboard Arjuna.
So what is Krishna saying here? Janma. Janma means birth. Karma means activities. Chame. Chame means Krishna. Divyam means very divine. So if you know about the activities of Krishna, the transcendental nature, if you listen to Krishna Katha, Krishna Leelalu, then he's saying that upon leaving this body, we don't need to take birth again. We don't come into the cycle of birth and death again. You will actually directly reach to my eternal abode. So it is very important to actually listen to. So you all are wonderfully listening to the class which Mataji is taking on Saturday, right? You are all listening to Krishna Kathalu. So it is really important. And see, listening to Krishna Katha is like Susukam. Krishna says it is Susukam means it is enjoyable. How many times you listen to Krishna Katha, it is really very exciting. Every time you listen to the same story, same Katha, then you will find something new in it. That's how wonderful Krishna Leelas are. Okay. So what is Krishna saying here? If you listen to all this knowledge, if you gain all this knowledge, you don't need to take birth again. You can actually, so we already discussed about the miseries, threefold miseries, right? Adhyatmika, Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika. So we no need to actually worry about those miseries again because we won't take birth again. That is what Krishna is saying in this particular verse. Now let's move on to the next one. So here, I think Mataji is already discussing about this Leelas. So first Leela, who is the Demonas? Anyone can say who is the Demonas in the first picture? I will. Charan, are you there? Charan? Who is the Demonas in the first picture? Don't know? Can you unmute? No, he's not able. He's not done. Vanshika and Shrenika. Yes, Vanshika. Putana. So at which age Krishna killed Putana?
2 years, Mataji.
No, a 10 months old baby. So these are how transcendental the Leelas of the Lord are. At the age of 10 days old baby, he killed Putana. So can we imagine, any of us, can we imagine a 10-day-old baby doing this? So that is how the Supreme Personality of Godhead is. He is the Lord, he can do anything. And in the second picture, we can see a card demon. Can anyone say who is that card demon? Harshit? What is the name of the card demon?
Shaktasur.
Shatkasura. Yes. So at which age Krishna killed this demon?
2.5.
Yeah, 2.5 to 3 months. Yeah. So at the age of 3 months, he was able to kill this. He killed this card demon. And again, we have a whirlwind demon here. So anyone who knows the name of the whirlwind demon? Yes, Akshaya? Not able to. Try now. Akshaya? No? Okay, I'll try someone else then. What happened? Vishnupriya? Krishnapriya, anyone?
Trinavatam.
Trinavatta. So at what age Krishna performed this Leela?
2.5 to 3 months.
3 years.
He is not 3 actually. He is 1 year. At the age of 1 year, he performed this Leela. And at what height this particular demon to Krishna, you know, it is like 800,000 miles above the earth he took Krishna. And you know, small babies, right? When you actually carry small babies, they'll have lot of grip actually. So they'll hold you tight, like if they catch your finger, right? They'll hold you tight like this. Or if you actually hold them, right, they will catch your collar or cloth. So what Krishna did, you know, baby Krishna did, he actually held the neck of Trinavatta. He held his neck tightly, and with that force, Trinavatta was not able to do anything. And he actually fell from that height. He fell on the ground, and all his body parts got dismantled, and they were thrown there, here, and everywhere. And Krishna is happily playing on his chest. That is his Leela. That is how transcendental Krishna Leelas are. And you know this one, right? If anyone want to say, what is this Leela? If you can switch on the video, I can actually unmute. Harshini, are you there? Harshini, what is this Leela? Okay, she's not there. I'll switch on the video. Who are, I'll ask who have switched on the video link. Yes, Harshit. What Leela is this?
Mataji, Govardhan Leela.
Govardhan Leela. At what age is that Leela done?
7 years.
7 years. Excellent. Yeah. So this Leela, Krishna performed at the age of 7 years, and he held that Govardhan hill for 7 days, 7 nights. Okay. And then we have Narsimhadev, everyone knows Narsimhadev. He actually came out from the pillar, and then we can see Varaha here, who in this incarnation he held the entire planet. He lifted the entire planet. So Mataji will discuss in more detail about these leelas in your Saturday's class, so that I am just giving a gist of them here. Okay. So here we have an important life lesson. If anyone want to read, I will actually ask only people who switched on the video. Okay. Rana. Yes, Rana.
When Krishna has made such an
Elaborate.
elaborate ad-
Education system.
education system, it's our duty to such an
Affiliated.
created university,
Parampara, and find the
find the right teacher, guru.
excellent. So what is this life lesson is? See, for material education, we will see like you are all studying. So when you go to 10th, right, and inter, you will see, okay, I want to go to IIT, I want to study in BITS Pilani. So you will plan a lot for this, right? But this is eternal education. It is more important than our material education. So we have to choose the right parampara and we have to find the right teacher to learn this education. So that is the end of the first section. Now we'll go to the second section. So what is the second section? So here Krishna is removing the misconceptions. So what are the misconceptions, popular misconceptions which everyone have? One is caste system. And all spiritual paths lead to the same destination. So Krishna is talking more in detail when we go into this chapter section here. So Charan, do you want to read this one? Charan, can you unmute? Charan, you're not able to unmute, I think so. You have a problem on your device. Yes. Yeah, read it.
Yeyatamam pradayante
Prapadyante.
tams
Tathaiva.
tataivam mam
Mama vatmanuvartante.
mama vattaruvartante manushya
Artha.
sarvasya.
Sarvashaha. Translation.
As all surrendered unto me, I revered them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Radha.
Very good. So what is Krishna saying here? Krishna is a reciprocal. He will reciprocate. So in whichever way you call Krishna, in that way he reciprocates. So what Krishna is saying here is, as all surrender unto me. So however you want to worship Krishna, that way he will actually reciprocate. That we have to understand here. So here what you can see, a honey bee. What is the honey bee doing? It is actually drinking the nectar from this lotus flower. So you know the lotus flower, right? The lotus flower, what it does. So this honeybee is engrossed in drinking the nectar from that flower, lotus flower. But the lotus flower nature is, when the sun is set, right, the lotus flower, what it will happen? It will close itself. And next day morning, when the sun rises, then it will open, it will blossom again. So this particular honeybee is engrossed in drinking the nectar of this lotus flower, and it actually doesn't actually recognize that the sun is setting, and because the sun is set, the lotus flower got closed and this honeybee died. So can anyone say this, because this honeybee is dead, is that the sun is partial? Because we can hear from people saying that, so many people, even you might have heard, like Krishna is the God is so partial. Some people he created very beautifully. Some people are very ugly. Some people are so rich. Some people are in poverty. So Krishna, why is the Lord doing all this? You might have heard from your friends and all saying that same thing, right? So in this example, is the sun partial? Or whose fault is here? Can anyone analyze? I see Akshaya, Brunda. Okay, Akshaya.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Mataji, sun is not partial, but honeybee is not limit, Mataji. It's not thinking about limit, Mataji.
Greedy, it's greedy, right? Yeah, very good, Akshin. So we have to understand that we are also like the honeybees. We are very greedy of everything. See, Krishna has provided everything for us, like oxygen, water. So those are the necessities of life, right? He has given that. But still we want more. We always think of getting more and more. So we should not be greedy, and we should understand that Krishna is not partial to anyone. We will understand that in the next verses. So now we'll just move on. And here you can see a picture of a boy who's actually giving grains to the ducks here. So see, there are some ducks behind. They're not even interested to go near that boy to take the grains. So what the lesson here is, the duck that quacks morally get grains, right? If you don't talk and if you don't have any inclination towards reaching Krishna, or if you don't have any devotion to Krishna, then Krishna will not worry about you. Why should he be worried? See, if you go, see, for example, you have like, for example, in your class, like there might be some students who are very bright. When the teacher asks questions, right, some people will be very interested to actually answer to that questions. Some people, they won't even be interested. They won't even be following the class or anything. So is the teacher partial there? No, right? Is the teacher partial there? No, right? Yes. No, because first of all, that student is not following what the teacher says, and she doesn't have any inclination to answer to her. So it is not, the teacher is not partial there. It is because the student is not interested, not inclined to actually answer to that teacher. Okay, so we should not blame the Lord for anything. So if we actually approach him with love and devotion, he will definitely reciprocate to us. That is what Krishna is saying here. Next verse. So here we are talking about Varnas. Who want to read this one? Krishna Priya?
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Chaturvaryam maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagasha tasya kartaramapi ma vidya kartaram avyayam.
Very good. Translation also.
According to the three modes of material nature and the work associated with them, the four divisions of human society are created by me. And although I am the creator of the system, you should know that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable.
Very good. So what is Krishna saying? Krishna is saying that he created four varnashrams. Chatur means four. So four varnashramas he has created. And these varnashramas, so the caste system, we all know about the caste system, right? So here Krishna is saying the caste system is not by birth, it is by the guna and karma. Guna karma vibhagashaha. He's saying the caste system is not the birth, the Chaturvarnyam Maya Shrishtam Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. So what is Krishna is saying here is, it is by the guna and karma, but not by the birth. So Krishna gave four divisions of Varnas here. And these four divisions of Varnas, they are not common to only Hindus, or they are not common to only India. These are universal. They are applicable to anyone throughout the world. Okay, like we know they are the administrative class of people. Like for example, the army or the defense. Some people, if you see, they will be like a born leader. How are they? Because they have that guna, and because of their karma, they are in that administrative vibhaga. And there is again this class of people who are very scholarly. They will be very intelligent. Whatever you ask them, they can memorize, and they will be very intelligent to explain that. These are the scholarly people. And we have different third set of people. These are the mercantile class. They can do business. Like whatever business you give them, they will actually fetch very good results. They will reap so much of huge profits. That is the business class. And there is the fourth varna, which is called as the labor class. these people, they are very faithful. They work under the supervision of a boss and they will be very faithful. They're hardworking and they will do all things. So these are the 4 varnas. So what are these 4 varnas called? Can anyone tell? Because I think you have learned them in SSR, right? Kshatriya. Yeah, Akshaya.
Aryavaishya, Kshatriya, Brahmana and
Shudra. Shudras. These are the 4 classes which we discussed now. So what is Krishna saying here? We'll understand. So Krishna is saying the caste system is not based on birth. My voice is breaking. 1 second. Okay. I think my internet is bad. Is it okay now? Is it the same for everyone? Fine now? Okay. No? You can type in the chat. Oh, it's not. Okay, fine. Okay. Yeah. So this caste system is not by birth. It is by guna. That is the modes of nature. This modes of material nature, you already have discussed in SSR, device program, Discover Yourself. But we will discuss more in detail in the 14th chapter. For now, understand that the Varna system is based on the guna and then based on the karma. Okay, like we discussed all those 4 Varnas, right? So that is what Krishna is talking about. It is not by birth. Say, for example, someone is born in a family of doctors. Say their mother is doctor, their father is doctor. If we take birth in that family, will you automatically become a doctor? No, right? Yeah. So same way, Krishna is saying that if you are born in a Brahmana family also, you won't become a Brahmana. That is to be acquired based on the guna and the karma. Okay. So that is what he's talking about here. We'll see more in detail about this. So here we have a life lesson. If anyone wants to read, I will ask those who have video on. Harika?
Ma'am, I cannot see that.
You can see now?
See that, ma'am.
Now you can see? No?
Yes,
Yeah.
I can see, ma'am.
Yeah, read it.
Choose any career and life based on your guna and karma, not on exterior factors. That they excel in the field you can choose.
Very good. So what is Krishna saying here is the life lesson is very important for all of you because it says you have to choose your career based on your guna and karma, not on external factors. See, for example, in your family, you might have cousins, you might have sisters, or everyone. So they might be doctors, engineers, lawyers, and different professions, right? Seeing them, you should not get influenced. Okay, they became a doctor, so I also have to become doctor. I have to become a bigger doctor than them. Like that, you should not actually choose your career. Krishna is saying it has to be based on your guna and karma. So guna, you will know, right? Like, okay, I can excel in this particular area. So you have to choose based on your nature, but not imitate others. That is what Krishna is telling. So if you actually choose your career based on that guna, then you will excel in that field. There is one more life lesson here. 1 second. Yeah, Brenda.
Determination of caste by birth is refuted in Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, very good. So I posted the attendance link. You can actually submit your attendance. Yeah. So what this life lesson is saying is determination of caste by birth is refuted in Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna is clearly saying that you cannot determine the caste by birth. Determining the caste by birth is wrong as per Krishna. That is what we have to understand here. Okay. So that is and okay, this is the last section of this particular section, last slide. So Krishna removes popular misconceptions. The second one, right? First misconception is about caste system. And the second misconception is Krishna is saying that all spiritual paths will not lead to the same destination, right? So here what is Krishna is saying here is, first let's talk about Devatas. Devatas are also called as demigods. So when we get the word of demigods, you have to understand that it is Devatas. Okay, so we have our government, right? We have a government, we have the cabinet of ministers. In the cabinet of ministers, we have like the finance minister, we have like we have defense minister, we have education minister, like that we have so many ministers. And these ministers are appointed for a period of 5 years, right? So after 5 years, what will happen? Again elections, and then again new people will be appointed. So this Devatas also are like that. They are the temporary controllers in the universal government who are working under the supervision of Krishna. Okay, you know Indra, right? Indra is responsible for rains. Yeah. Then you know sun god Vivaswan. He is responsible for sunlight. Like that, we have Lakshmi Devi, who is responsible for finance. Then we have Saraswati Devi, who is responsible for education. So she is the education minister in the universal government. Then we have Parvati Devi, who is the defense minister. So like that, their positions are also temporary. Devatas positions are temporary. We have to understand Devatas positions are also temporary. Okay, you understood so far, right? Yeah. Now we can realize Krishna in 3 ways. There are 3 features in which we can realize Krishna. One is Brahman aspect. Second one is Paramatma. Third one is Bhagavan. Okay. What is Brahman? We'll see. So you all might have seen movies, right? In movies, how they will show the Lord, like there'll be so much of light, so much of effulgence. So because the Lord is having a spiritual body, there will be so much of light emanating from him. Okay. So these people, some people see, they will only see that light, but behind that light, there is a person. They cannot realize that person. Okay. They will only see that light and they will think that that is God. That is impersonalist. So what we'll say, that is an impersonal form. So what these Brahman realization people, they will do is, they will try to merge into that Brahma Jyoti. Okay, understood so far? Any doubt here? Akshaya. Yes, Akshaya.
Mataji, I did not understand, Mataji.
Okay, see, did you see anytime movie where they showed Lord, right?
Yes,
See,
Mataji.
Krishna will have a spiritual body. He won't have a body like us. Okay? He will have a spiritual body. So that spiritual body will have so much of light. If the Lord is coming, right, there will be so much of light emanating from him. Okay? In this picture, you can see some light, right? Like that, so much of light will be emanating. So this particular set of people, right, they will see only that light. Behind that light, there is a person. Krishna is there. But they cannot see Krishna. They only will think, okay, this light only is the Lord, they'll think. And they will worship that light. And if they worship that light, what will happen? They will merge into that light only. Okay, understood, Akshaya?
Yes, Mataji. Brahman will do like that.
Brahman. People who actually realize only the Brahman feature of Krishna, they will actually merge into that light. They will think only that light is the Lord. They will not know that behind that light there is a person. They won't realize that. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. So that is the Brahman realization. And next we have the Paramatma. So we all know that we all are souls, right? We have soul. So Paramatma also is there within us. So now we can talk about a story here. There is a Upanishad called Shvetashra Upanishad and Mundak Upanishad. In this Upanishad, they are talking about, let us all visualize, like there is a big tree. Okay. On that tree, there are 2 birds. Okay, one bird, what it is doing, it is actually enjoying the fruits of the tree. And other bird is just sitting beside that bird which is eating the fruit. This bird is just watching this bird eating all the fruits. Okay, this bird is us. Okay, the soul, our Jivatma. And the second one, right, this is Paramatma. So what is this Paramatma doing? Paramatma will actually watch what we are doing. But then when the soul actually realizes that there is a Paramatma beside, then the Paramatma will give the knowledge. It will give the intelligence for us to recognize what is good and bad from within. Okay, understood so far? Any question? Yeah. So everyone sometimes see when you wanted to do anything from inside, you will get some messages, right? Like whether to do this or not. Then what from inside you will hear like something saying that, okay, don't go for it. This is not good, like that. Everyone have that experience, right? Yeah, that is Paramatma. Paramatma is giving us that realization. He will give us that intelligence, that knowledge. If we realize that Paramatma, okay? And the third aspect of Krishna is Bhagavan. So Bhagavan we already discussed, right? Bhagavan is like he has 6 opulences, incomplete, 100%. That is the two-handed form is called as Bhagavan. So when we realize Krishna as Bhagavan, the two-handed form, then he will reciprocate in that way. Next slide, you'll get the clarity. So Brahman, when someone realizes only Brahman, right? So you all know that Bhagavan is Sat, Chit, Anand, right? 3 features are there, Sat, Chit, Anand. But if someone realizes only that light form, light wala form is there, right? If you realize only that form, then that is only Satta feature, eternality. Say for example, you all wanted to watch TV. Say for example, TV you wanted to watch for a long time. But your parents say, no, it's not good. Don't watch that much of time. They're saying to you. Then one day they're actually going somewhere and they will say, you have to stay alone at home. After 2 days only will come. They will say. So will you enjoy without your parents? You have TV, you have phone, you have all enjoyment. But will you enjoy when nobody is there at home by yourself? No, right? One day you'll enjoy. See, definitely one day it will be an enjoyment. Second day, what you'll feel? Oh my God, my parents are not there with me. You'll feel so lonely, right? You will long that if they come back, it will be very nice. Or else if I go with them, it will be very nice. You long for that, right? Yeah. So the Brahman is like that. If you actually merge into that Brahman, there is no activity to do. You won't even enjoy there. You will just come back again to this material world. Again, you have to take birth. Okay. Paramatma. Paramatma means we will have Sat, eternality, and knowledge will be there. But again, there is no bliss here. So here also we can enjoy. But when you realize the Bhagavan feature, there is Sat, there is Chit and Anand. So when you realize Bhagavan feature, you can have a physical relationship with Krishna. So you can realize Krishna like a parent. So I already told you, right? Like Krishna doesn't have any birth. But then he actually takes birth to satisfy his devotees in the form of incarnation. Sometimes original Krishna only he comes into this world. So that is how the relationship is important. So when you realize the Bhagavan form, you can actually have the relationship with Krishna. Like you can be a friend to Krishna, you can be a parent to Krishna, and you can have all sorts of relationship with Krishna. Okay? Understood so far? So that is what Krishna is saying in that verse. Ye yadamam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham. However you worship me, in that way only I reciprocate to you. Okay, Krishna is a reciprocate. So here we have a life lesson. If anyone want to read. Brunda.
Yes, Mataji. Different flights go to different destination. Decide where you want to go and buy the ticket appropriately.
Very good. So why we wrote this life lesson here is, see, if you go to the ticket counter and you ask him to give a ticket, what he'll ask? He'll ask where you want to go. So before you go into the ticket counter, first you have to decide where you want to go. You just can't go to the ticket counter and say, give me the ticket. Where he'll give you the ticket. So it is important for you to actually decide where you want to go and take the ticket appropriately. That is a life lesson here. So now again we are coming to the third section. Third section is from the verse 4.16 to 4.24. Here it is a scary picture, but then it is a very important verse. If anyone want to read. Vishnu Priya.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yapi bodhavyam bodhavyam cha vikarmana akarmana cha bodhavyam Gana karma gati.
Very good. Translation.
The intricacies
intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, and what impact inaction is.
Very good. So Krishna is explaining about karma, vikarma, akarma. So here we thought like we'll defeat the Newton's third law of motion. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Yes, in case of two, but Krishna gave us an alternative wherein we can escape without having any reaction. How we can escape? By doing devotional service to Krishna, by keeping Krishna in the center, by Krishna keeping in the center of whatever we are doing. Okay, how we'll see that. So here Krishna is talking about karma, vikarma and akarma. So what is karma? Karma is doing pious activities. So if you do pious activities, what will happen? You will enjoy. But then you will have to take rebirth because you have to enjoy the punya karma which you got as part of that pious activity. So you will take birth again. On the other hand, we have vikarma. So what is vikarma? Vikarma is performing sinful activities. So if you perform sinful activities, you will have to take rebirth again. But then why you will take rebirth? Because you have to suffer for the sin you have done. But then Krishna is giving a solution. That is akarma, inaction. When you perform inaction, Krishna is saying there will be only joy and you will automatically go to the spiritual world. Okay. So what is akarma? Akarma is keeping Krishna in the center of whatever we are doing. So for example, you are all studying. You have to write exams. You're studying. So you have to study for Krishna. I am working, right? So I have to work for Krishna. I have to work in such a way that I am working from Krishna, for Krishna. So we have to do our activities, day-to-day activities in such a way that we are working for Krishna. Okay. So here again, we have a life lesson if anyone want to read. Anyone else who didn't read? Ananya? Ananya, are you there? Okay, Ananya is not there. Vanshika, Shrinika.
Krishna is not responsible for our situation.
If I am enjoying, it is because of some pious activity done in previous life. If I am suffering, it is because of some sinful activity done in previous life. So we have to understand whatever situation we are in today, it is because of our activity done in previous life. So we are actually writing our own script based on our activities we are doing. We are writing our own script. See here I have a DD, right? So D stands for what we desire and what we deserve. So next life, what you want to become, you are designing by yourself. Krishna is not doing anything. Based on your desires, you are designing your next life, and based on your karma, that is what you deserve, Krishna will allocate that accordingly. Okay. The DD stands for what you desire and what you deserve. Okay. So this is the last section for today. So again, this is a very important verse. If anyone want to read. Kaushini? Kaushini, you are mute again. Okay, Akshay.
तद्विधिप्रणिपातेन परिप्रश्नेन सेवया उपदेक्षन्ति ते ज्ञानं ज्ञानिनस्तत्त्वदेहिनः दर्शिनः.
Translation.
Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge onto you because they have seen seen
Seen
the
the truth. Very good. So what is Krishna saying here? Krishna is saying that we have to inquire submissively. Submissively means you should be in a mood to accept what the Guru is saying. So you should not have any false intentions. When you are approaching Guru, right, you should not any false intentions like going to the Guru to test him or not following the instructions of what he's saying. So we have to be very submissive in rendering service onto the Guru. So in this section, we'll see what Krishna is saying. So in this section, we'll be discussing about a teacher to train and sacrifice, caliber versus character, and what are the topmost sacrifices. Okay. So what we have to sacrifice when we go to a Guru, we have to sacrifice our pride, our ego, and misconceptions. These three, what are the three we have to sacrifice? Our pride, false ego, and misconceptions. When you actually sacrifice these three, the teacher will be happy to actually render, impart knowledge to you. Okay. So here in this Arya, why are you actually asking for access for the screen? Arya, don't play with it. Yeah. So in this section, we'll be discussing about caliber versus character. See, caliber is like you all are studying. Tomorrow you want to become a doctor or engineer or lawyer or any other profession, right? But this is based on the caliber. That is the mundane knowledge we are developing. But character, to listen to Bhagavad Gita, to acquire this knowledge, we have to develop character. So how we can develop character? We have to perform sacrifice. What is it sacrifice? At the mental level, we have to control the senses. So controlling the senses, we discussed about the 4 regulative principles, right? So all of you know the 4 regulative principles, right? Yeah. So we have to follow the 4 regulative principles at the mental level. At the intellectual level, we have to surrender to the Guru, to the authority. See, now authority for us is Bhagavad Gita as it is. That is given by Srila Prabhupada. So we are surrendering completely onto the Bhagavad Gita as it is, which is written by Srila Prabhupada, which is actually given by Krishna. Okay. And then the third one is service attitude. We have to render service onto the Guru. So these 3, when you actually perform, then we can attain knowledge. Okay. So here we can see a story. So this story is like, I'm not sure if anyone know this story. It is a monkey demon. It is a water demon and a monkey king. So there are a group of monkeys. So one day what happened is like these monkeys are actually enjoying the jumping off the branches. So whole day they were actually enjoying. But then they were very thirsty. Then the monkey king is there. So the king ordered to one of his Sishya to actually go and check if there is any water body nearby. So the Sishya went to different branches, far off place, and he found a water body there. He just came back and said, okay, there is a water body. Let us all go towards this way. And all these other monkeys and the leader, they actually followed that monkey and he took to that place. Then immediately the leader, the monkey king is there, right? The monkey king instructed, no, don't jump from this branch. There is a demon there. Then all the Sishyas, they asked that the monkey king, why are you saying that? How do you know? There's nobody here. We cannot see anyone. Then he said, there are some footprints there. Seeing that footprints, I can identify that there is a demon there. Don't jump from the branches. Then the Sishyas are so thirsty. They're saying, oh my leader, how come we are very thirsty? We need water. What to do now? Then they were silent. They listened to the leader. But then this water demon, right? It came out from the water and it is actually calling all these monkeys. It is saying, hey, come. I am enjoying in this water. Come. It is calling all that monkeys. Saying that, right? All this group of monkeys, what they said to the leader, they were saying, see that demon is calling us. It is not looking like a demon. It is happily enjoying in water. It won't do us anything. Let us all go and drink water. Then the leader said, no, there is danger there. Don't jump off the branch until I say you. Then they all listened to that master. And but then the Sishyas were asking, Master, we are very thirsty. How can we actually survive this thirst? Then the leader said, okay, on the trees, right, bamboo sticks will be there. The bamboo sticks will be very hollow, right? Through, you can see that. So many bamboo sticks together, they form a big bamboo sticks. And what they did is, you can see in the picture, actually, it is not so a nice picture. But what they did is, with that bamboo sticks from the trees itself, they drank water. So what we can understand from this story, they actually, first of all, they're submissive to their guru. They listened to what the guru said. And then they followed the instructions. So they escaped the danger and ultimately their thirst also is quenched. So we have to be to the guru that way. We have to behave with the guru that way. And one more story here. So we have discussed about 3 points, right? One is at mind level, intellectual level, and one is action. Like we have to do service to the guru. So to explain the service to the guru, we can take about one pastime here of Krishna and Sudama. So Krishna, he studied in whose ashramam? Anyone can say? Who is the guru of Krishna? Sudama is his friend. Who is the guru of Krishna? Anyone knows? No one? Okay. It is Sandipana Muni. Okay, in Sandipana Muni ashram, Krishna and Sudama and his friends, they were studying. So one day, Sandipana Muni's wife, she instructed Krishna and Sudama to go to the forest and bring some logs of wood. Those days, they used to go to the forest and bring logs of wood. Then following the instructions of the Guru's wife, Krishna and Sudama went into the forest. But then after they collecting all the log of the woods and they want to return back, right, there was a thunderstorm and the whole place is flooded. And you can see in that picture, Krishna and Sudama, they were tightly holding their self and in other hand, they actually holding the logs. They didn't even keep the log of wood down. They were standing like that the whole night because their guru instructed to bring the log of the wood. They just hold that log of wood and the next day morning, the entire night they spent in the forest like that. Next day morning, Sandipani Muni along with his disciples, he actually came in search for Krishna and Sudama and he actually found them and he was very happy and he actually told that whatever you have learnt today, that will be carried throughout the life. That is how we have to render service on to anyone. Like if you're doing a service to your parents or if you're doing service to the guru or if you're doing service to Krishna, you have to do with love and dedication. Commitment should be there. When you're doing something, you should have that commitment. When you give 100% to whatever you're doing, then that will fetch you good results. Okay? So that is what they're instructing here. And what is the topmost sacrifice? So you all know this. So how can we actually attain this knowledge? By chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. You all are chanting so beautifully. We are really very happy with you all. And you're reading, like I just heard that Sri Shagana, she received the Bhagavad Gita book and she started reading that book also. That is really amazing. And others also, if possible, try to start reading Bhagavad Gita. Whichever chapter you actually listened today, you can just go through that chapter. So you will understand in detail, in depth. Okay. And then the 4 regulative principles. Okay. That is what we have learned here. And this is the last life lesson for this session today. Who want to read it? Akshaya?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Life-sustaining things are easily available. Oxygen, water, and spirituality. Learn to value them.
Very good. So, see, Bhagavad Gita is available everywhere. Just like oxygen and sunlight is available to us, even the spiritual knowledge is available. But we are not valuing it. The amount of importance we are giving to the material knowledge, we are not giving to spiritual knowledge. So, we have to focus more on the spiritual knowledge. We have to balance the two. So we already heard about Swadharma and Sanatan Dharma, right? So this comes under Sanatan Dharma. So we have to balance the both. Okay. So this is the end of this section. So just a quick overview, recap of what we learned today. First, we learned about eternal education, where like how to acquire this knowledge, from whom we can acquire this knowledge, and what is this knowledge about. And then we talked about Krishna removes misconceptions. So what are the misconceptions Krishna removed here? Like about caste system. And the other is like he was talking about not all spiritual paths lead to the same destination. And he said like, however people reciprocate, however people worship me, I will reciprocate in that way. Okay. And then third section, like we have defeated the Newton's third law of motion. By how can we defeat that? By doing akarma. And then the final section, that is how to attain knowledge. There we learned like we have to sacrifice our pride, our ego, and the popular misconceptions. And then we can actually control our senses by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, by following the regulative principles, and by reading Bhagavad Gita. So that is the end of this section today. Chapter 3, Grandraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much for attentively listening. Hare Krishna.